Hello Wolfpack, Bitcoin Cash today as well, and we've done a Bitcoin Cash video about 2 weeks ago, but we're doing another one today because we've just seen quite a interesting thing for Bitcoin Cash, a bit of a breakout in the Bitcoin Cash USD pair, and that breakout comes from this descending wedge that we were forming here. Now, we have been expecting Bitcoin Cash to do something like this, right? We expected some sort of inverse head and shoulders pattern, but obviously this correction has been a bit deeper and a bit longer than we would have expected, according to our cyclical theory. It's not completely abnormal yet, but it definitely has been, as I said, deeper and longer than expected. But right now, Bitcoin Cash kind of entered a descending channel formation, or descending wedge formation, I should say, on the daily chart. And also, if you zoom in, you can also see on the 4-hourly chart, we entered the same thing, right? A pretty damn clear descending wedge formation that we've drawn here on the daily chart. Looks a bit clearer. You know, we've broken out to the upside. We've closed above that wedge formation here on the last daily candle close, and right now we have also seen a flip of it from a wick, and we're heading to the upside once again. So Bitcoin Cash has been moving quite nicely. Just in a 3-day period, it's moved up roughly 18-19%. So the reason why I'm making this video is not only because of that breakout, because we have a few things that have happened from this breakout that are very bullish for Bitcoin Cash that might actually signal that, hey, if Bitcoin recovers here, if Bitcoin gets over 61.1k, or even right now, if you're very, very optimistic, you could see that Bitcoin Cash is going to be one of the bigger movers. Well, there's multiple reasons for that, and one of the reasons would be that it is exponentially down from its all-time high, right? Its all-time high was made up here in 2017, and that was at $4,200. For those of you who say it can't get there, I understand your opinion. What I will say is that it reached a local high of 1,700 earlier this year, so it can at least get to that point. Now, my prediction for Bitcoin Cash has always been, and it will remain to be, 130% upwards from its all-time high, so that's around 3,800. That's where I think Bitcoin Cash is going to go in this cycle, to around 3,800 USD. I still stand by that. Obviously, until my Bitcoin prediction is invalidated, I don't think it's going to go above its all-time highs dramatically, right? If it does, I don't think it's going to go above dramatically. Now, the reason being is because this coin back in 2017, although it's still very relevant now, it's still very useful in some certain scenarios, and it's still got a very strong community. In 2017, this coin was bolstered up by massive amount of support from celebrities. Every single person and their dog was talking about Bitcoin Cash for some reason. If you're around in 2017, you'd know about it. The hype around this coin was insane. So I don't know if it's able to match that in this cycle, but it will probably do something similar, and it probably will shoot up to near those prices. I think that without all of that celebrity endorsement, without all that support, and just with the natural branding, it probably wouldn't have gone that high. But this cycle, I'm looking at around 3,800 USD, and that could be invalidated if Bitcoin doesn't make a move pretty bloody soon, but we'll have to see what happens for it. I'm still targeting that for now. What I can say for sure is that Bitcoin Cash has a move in the charts, right? And that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing that Bitcoin Cash is constantly and resiliently retesting fundamental support, right? It's got this support line that's been holding here that would date all the way back, but it's holding from July, right? This yellow support line that is held in July and September, and right now in November. We've bounced off of that just recently. We've just seen the start of that move, and not only have we bounced off that yellow line that I'll bring back up, we've also seen a breakout of that descending wedge formation, which is great to see. Now, what we do have, in addition to the fact that there's, you know, massive upside potential, is the fact that we have a bullish MACD cross forming on the daily chart that will be crossing most likely on this daily candle or the next one, right? If they close green, obviously if there's a massive market correction before the daily close in 10 or 11 hours, that won't happen. But I'm thinking within the next couple of daily closes, which should further drive some momentum up in Bitcoin Cash and give it the ability to start testing this red box, which is essentially our main target in the short term now. So we've got that on our side here. We also have the fact that we'll bring up the VVPR in a second. We have the fact that the SMAs have all compressed into one very tight location. In fact, just between 16 USD of each other, which is nothing if you're thinking about the price valuations we're talking about on Bitcoin Cash. So the SMAs have compressed massively, and we've closed above all three of them, which is our 12, our 26, and our 100, which are the fundamental medium-term SMAs in my personal opinion. We've closed above all three of them on this breakout of the wedge formation, which gives me the confidence to say that it's not very likely we're going to drop back below them on a daily close unless Bitcoin literally just crashes down to 53k, right? I don't think we're going to be closing back below them. Now, I think this breakout is well and truly confirmed. If you wanted more confirmation, you'd be waiting for another daily candle close, right? But at this point, I would say it's a pretty safe entry. That's my personal opinion. Of course, anything can happen, and it does depend on your opinion on Bitcoin. And I've even said multiple times in the past that I would be waiting for the break of the bearish divergence on Bitcoin on the daily chart before entering too many positions, but Bitcoin Cash doesn't look too bad right now. So we flipped all those SMAs on the breakout as well. We also have on the VVPR showing that around, just below this red box is our last real major resistance before we can start zooming up parabolically. Notice how historically, whenever we are underneath this red box, we kind of see bunch of sideways movement, right? Bunch of sideways movement. And whenever we are over that red box, we zoom upwards, right? So once we get over this red box, which we tested here in September, and I would be assuming we're going to be testing that at least by the end of the year, right? Possibly within the next couple of weeks here, or even the next week, depending on how bullish the price action is. Once we get above that box, it's basically open season, and we're basically just going to be coming up. Maybe we'll flip it for support and then zooming to the upside, like we saw a break to the upside and then a flip for support. We came all the way back down and then straight back to the upside to shake out some weak hands on Bitcoin Cash. So, the point is, we've seen a massive breakout for Bitcoin Cash. I know it doesn't look like much because we're still in this range, but the fact that we flipped all of those SMAs and the fact that the weekly chart looks good as well, that we'll show you in a second, the fact that we're going to see that bullish MACD cross, and the fact that the last major area of resistance is only, let's see here, is only about, 14-15% from current prices. Once we get above that point, as I said, it's basically open season. So the weekly chart also doesn't look too bad. The weekly chart is showing a massive compression on the Bollinger Bands over the course of like 2 months now, which means that a massive move is forming, a big move is on the way. We saw a similar compression here from around July to around November 2020, and it led to an exponential rise from around 250 USD all the way to around 1,600 USD in a matter of a few months. So we're expecting something similar there on Bitcoin Cash. And, historically, when we see these compressions, we can't see it from the last cycle because it wasn't around long enough for the Bollinger Bands to be in existence. But I can guarantee you we would have seen a similar compression in that October-November period, as with most altcoins. So Bitcoin Cash is definitely primed for a move. On top of that, we also have the fact that we have, on this next weekly candle close, if we close green, we will be seeing a bullish MACD cross on Bitcoin Cash, which will further drive the momentum. And one other reason that I want to talk about Bitcoin Cash, right, is the fact that if Bitcoin Cash does have this move to the upside, and if Bitcoin, specifically if Bitcoin recovers, remember that Bitcoin Cash is going to be one of the first coins to top out, right? It tops out with Bitcoin. Not many coins do that. Most altcoins top out with Ethereum. So if Bitcoin Cash tops out with Bitcoin, that means it's going to move earlier than the other altcoins, and it's going to top out earlier, right? So you can get your profits in Bitcoin Cash, sell your Bitcoin Cash, and then flip it back into altcoins that still haven't made their bulk of their move yet. So it's a good early altcoin season play, right? Because Bitcoin Cash, as I said, typically tops out with Bitcoin, not with altcoins, right? So it's a good early altcoin season play, or pre-altcoin season play, which is why I like Bitcoin Cash a lot. Same thing with Litecoin. A lot of people discredit those coins because of the fundamentals, but the fact is the technicals still remain and the use case still remains to a certain extent, right? It's still got a niche, and it probably will always have a niche, or in the foreseeable future it will, at least. And I like Bitcoin Cash, right? As for the Bitcoin pair on Bitcoin Cash, we can see on the daily chart, we had this massive descending wedge playing out all the way from April, right? And we've just broken out to the upside, we've flipped it for support, and we've kind of lagged a little bit as this Bitcoin correction happened from earlier this month, and we've kind of just been bouncing around. That's expected, but what we would be expecting is a swipe up to the upside as Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin start running quite massively. And the target for this move would be, if we take the first retest to the bottom to the first retest of the top, we can see the target for this move would be around the 2,400 sats area, which is around a 2.5x from current prices on the Bitcoin pair. On Bitcoin Cash, and if you're looking at a longer term scale, you can see that Bitcoin Cash has a lot of room to go. Again, do I think it can reach all-time highs on the Bitcoin pair? No, I don't, right? Again, simply there were way less altcoins in the market, and Bitcoin Cash was getting a lot more attention. I think we're going to be targeting some of these lower zones here on the Bitcoin pair, like for example 10,000 sats, like for example 6,500, 5,000, and what I just said before at 2,500. Those are the short-term resistance zones we're going to be looking at for Bitcoin Cash. But ultimately, I think that this is basically the trigger moment for, finally a move above this red box. We talked about it in the last video, and we did see a pump after that last video. I mean, we talked about the last video here. I think it was early November. We saw a bit of a rally, right? We saw from around 500, mid 500s, all the way up to around 750. And we ultimately got rejected. That wasn't what we were expecting, really. We were expecting this inverse head and shoulders pattern to continue playing out perfectly and break us above this red box. But we saw that kind of unexpected Bitcoin correction. And we've entered a descending wedge here, and now we're breaking it to the upside finally. So let's see what happens. I think it looks good personally. Obviously, Bitcoin is worth keeping an eye on. As I've said in multiple videos, I highly recommend you brush up on my opinion on this. I'm not 100% confident entering altcoins fully until Bitcoin breaks its bearish RSI divergence and until it breaks 61.1k via a daily candle close, which is what is needed to flip the POC. Once we break that fully, I would be pretty happy to fully re-enter altcoins 100%. Right now I'm being conservative with my buys, and I'm swing trading for the most part, but Bitcoin Cash does look great on the occasion that does happen for Bitcoin. So keep an eye on it. I think it looks good. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.